I am pleasantly surprised by this golf club, but it's not quite what I thought it would be. I have in my hands the PXG Mini Driver, which is called the Secret Weapon. And when I first got it out of the box, I sat it down and I thought, yeah, I don't like the look of that. It looks a little bit closed. So at address, it sort of towed in a little bit on all the standard settings. And with the standard weights that are in the head, which was preset to a draw setting, so we had the weight in the front and the heel, I hit it and I got some yardages and I was like, yeah, okay, it's all right. However, I started tinkering with all the settings on the head. So I tinkered with the loft on here. I put it on the small minus. So literally one small click away from standard, one little notch. And when I did that, it sat on the ground quite nicely. It sat just a little bit more open. So sitting on the ground, it just sat that little bit more open. So it looks to the right hand side a little bit more when it's behind the ball, which is nice. And it suits my eye. And then what I did was I moved the weights around and I put the heavier weights in the front and the toe. Now what that does is it encourages a little bit more fade spin. It makes the center of gravity come over this way, so you've got more strikes on the left side of the center of gravity, which would encourage fade spin. And it did something quite delightful. It made the ball just have a little touch of fade. So I literally have just that little bit of fade spin and I get about 4 or 5 yards more carry than my 3 would. So I don't see this as a mini driver, I see this as a big 3 wood for me. I struggle with the 3 wood, I struggle to get the 3 wood to go as far as I think a 3 wood should go. Because with a driver, I tee the ball up nice and high, I get the club under the ball, I hit up on the ball and I get really good efficiency. So it maximizes the distance that it can get. With a 3 wood on the floor, I squeeze down on the ball a bit more, it launches lower with a bit more spin, which resists in the air and goes a really big chunk less than my driver. But some golfers hit their 3 woods further than their drivers because they strike it more consistently, because they flight the ball better. When the driver doesn't have enough launch and enough spin to stay in the air and get maximum distance, the 3 wood just holds that flight that little bit higher for some golfers, not all golfers. For me, I just fall into a bit of inefficiency with the flight, so I don't quite get what I feel that I should, but I'm not going to try and get more, because if I want to get more distance from my 3 wood, it has to be teed up and I have to be flighting up into the ball. But with the mini driver, I can hit a fade and still get the yardages that I get with a big draw 3 wood, but I have to hit a big draw with a 3 wood to get them to catch up. So I think it is a really delightful mechanism to use this in my golf bag, because I get a different flight than my driver. With my driver teed up, fling it as far as I can. I'm not even trying to hit the fairway with my driver, I'm just trying to launch it as far as I possibly can. When I go to this, it gives me the proper healthy 3 wood distance that I normally get without fail, and I get a little fade with it. When I hit a fade with my normal 3 wood, I drop in yardage, my carry comes down, my spin goes up, and I just lose a little bit more. However, a couple of weeks ago, I was fitted for my new Srixon golf clubs, because I am now a Srixon ambassador, which is nice. But I went to Portugal last week and I played with this in the bag, and again, it feels like a big 3 wood, but off the tee, I could literally aim at a bunker on the left side of the fairway. I'd aim at that bunker on the left side of the fairway, I'd hit my shot, and it would just have that tiny little bit of either fade or a push. That was more of a push draw, I got it off the toe, but it's definitely not flung left. I haven't got anything that makes it go left. And historically, with all the PXG equipment, I really do find that the weights in the PXG equipment really make a difference in flight. So I will do another video, if you jump in the comments, to see what the difference is with the weights on the toe in the front, the heel on the front, and the back in the middle, to see what the difference in flight there is. But you need to let me know that's what you want to see. So again, that was a bit slappy off the toe, but I still got my 3 wood yardage. I still got decent carry, just with a lot less effort, with a lot less manipulation of my swing. I don't have to like get into the floor and get up. And even off the deck, like, it's a good bit of kit. Like if I hit this off the floor, I still get my like 3 wood yardages with a fade. Got a little fade thing going there. It does get a little bit more fadey when I go off the deck, but I don't lose that much. I don't lose too much distance from that kind of club. So for me, it's in addition to the driver that could sit in the bag. Could, will, maybe, don't know. I need to check my Srixon contract. But it was absolutely, definitely a fairway finder. But I do think it's a big 3 wood, not a mini driver.